2020 Audi S7 came in with an overheat and no charging, and also he said that the coolant is leaking. The customer is saying that he's topped it up a couple times, but it has still been overheating, and it went into limp mode as well. So we're gonna find out what's going on. It had a lot of codes for battery voltage and engine block too hot. We're gonna check whether it's leaking a coolant anywhere, and then we're gonna start it up, but with the top coolant, and see if the charging system is operating. The coolant reservoir is empty. Nothing in the reservoir, just the color. So this is going to be about 4 liters in total that we have refilled, and it looks like that's going to be enough. We can now start diagnosing where it's leaking from and what's going on. So we're going to start it up and see what's going on. So we're checking voltage when it's running. We did charge the battery because it was almost dead, and now it's starting, and the voltage is below 12 volts. It looks like we have a charging system problem. So the problem ended up being a hybrid battery discharged, and when the state of charge of hybrid battery goes below a certain point, it disconnects it internally. There is a relay or a set of relays inside the battery pack that disconnects them from the system, and in order to charge them, to get it connected again, there has to be a constant 50 amp charger connected while doing the adaptations on the scan tool, according to the service bulletin we have found. So we're gonna start working on that. Here's what we're going to do to fix this problem. First of all, we have the vehicle connected to another vehicle that's running, so that's supposed to give us at least 50 amps of current. Should be okay. Now, in this module, battery energy control module 2, we have a couple of trouble codes that are telling us that the battery has been disconnected. We're gonna go to adaptation menu, and then there is a function that is going to reconnect the battery if the conditions are okay. So we go active, and okay, we gotta do the security access online. Log in, okay. All right, now we can go back and do the adaptation. Set okay. All right, so supposedly we have enabled it. Let's go back to the codes.
No, go back to live data.
Codes are still active, but let's go to live data and check if it's actually been closed. All right, 9%. It used to be 8, I believe. still open. Even though we've adapted it, it may need to be started. Let's see if we can start it. Let's also check the adaptation again. Yeah, it shows active, so it should be closing. Maybe we need that extra juice. If we rev up the other vehicle, we might be able to. Obviously, we're not sure because this is the first time we're dealing with this. Yeah, so we found the guided function that is gonna work, hopefully.
We have 8%.
Okay, so that's more than enough. We have 9 now. Ooh, we have improved. Could be successfully performed. Charge the battery adequately with 12-volt vehicle electrical system using battery charger. Okay, and the program done. Okay, it wants an ignition cycle, so we gotta switch off the ignition and switch it back on. Alright, let's switch it off. Wait a couple seconds, like 5-10 seconds, and then we switch it back on. Nice welcome sound. Alright, it's doing its thing. It's doing something. Seems to be working. Okay, so this whole procedure is done. Now we gotta go back to live data. Yeah, we already see that the main contactor of the 48-volt battery is closed. That means the battery is now going to be charging. Okay, we're gonna check the live data now to see if the contactor is closed. Okay, so we have a closed contactor. I guess now we just gotta leave it charging
For a couple of hours.
for a few hours, yes. We have closed switch, closed relay for the protection relay. So it's connected and the battery is charging. Let's go through some data items so you can see what's going on. So right now it's at the 12% charge state. You only need 15 to make it work by itself. We'll probably charge it a little more just in case. Yeah, so it's showing each individual cell state of charge. Very handy to diagnose it. You can actually see which cell is not good. Looks like they're pretty close together, so should be all right. Very interesting. Lots of data available. Current 42. It's a discharge current. It's a limit, predictive limit for discharge current. It's not the charge current. I haven't seen the charge current yet. I'm not sure what these two items are. There may be Maybe that's the charging current of the 48-volt battery. It sounds about true. After the conversion and stuff, it could be loss. Okay, so let's go back to the cell state of charge. Okay, yeah, it's pumping it up. It's at 14 now. We have been charging this Audi for about an hour, maybe more. Now the state of charge of all the cells is around 35%. This is the overall state of charge. Okay, so now we can actually start the vehicle and see why the battery discharged. Check what happened. Okay, now this code is passive. It was active before. We can now clear the code. All right, so the code has cleared. Let's reread it just to make sure. Okay, no codes. Now we should go and clear all the other codes in all the systems. These are all voltage related codes. So we will just do quick erase. Whatever doesn't erase, we will erase manually. And then we'll retest, see if the alternator is actually working or not. Okay, so I think, yeah, there's one code left for head-up display. What would that be? Faulty control module. Okay, that's... I think we can disregard that for now. Let's continue diagnosing. Oh, actually, what I would like to do is turn off ignition and do another auto scan. So let's do that. We turn the ignition off. Wait a couple seconds, like 10 seconds or so. And then we do a rescan. Okay, ignition back on. And rescan now to see if there is anything that may have come back. Okay, now we have information electronics fault also. Let's see what that is. Tuner, okay, that's great. That's probably okay. It just doesn't have the satellite radio activated, so that's great. Okay, so let's disconnect the charger and start the vehicle and see what the charging voltage is. We're gonna go ahead and measure the voltage at the terminals to make sure that it's charging. It's not. So we don't have charging. The alternator isn't charging at all. 12.19, and it's probably going to be dropping. We don't have the error code yet because the voltage has not dropped below 12. So we're gonna run it for a little bit to see if the error comes back, if the voltage drops enough. In the meantime, we can just do a rescan again. It may have already got some codes. No new codes. Okay. So let's run it for a little bit. Maybe we should close the coolant. By the way, the charger you're seeing in the background there, it's disconnected. It's just standing there. Try turning the steering wheel. Let's see what happens. If it works, it should increase the voltage. Now it goes down. It went down a little bit. So when doing the power steering, it's getting down. It definitely is not charging. So it's been running for about half an hour, and we can see that the voltage fluctuates, so the alternator is charging on and off. It's most likely okay, as we're not getting any codes. So my guess would be that this is the very intelligent charging system, and it senses what it needs and charges accordingly. Also, if you rev it up, it also charges more. So let's give it a rev up. Yeah, you can see that it's charging now, pretty enough. So once you let it idle, it goes lower, but it's definitely more than 12.2 like it was. Oh, now it's even going higher. Okay, so the charging system works. There's no trouble codes. I'm not sure why this issue happened. We'll continue to run it for some time and see if anything comes up. But for now, the system is working properly. Decided to check live data to see what the state of charge of that hybrid battery is. And it seems like after running for just over half an hour, it charged it to 67%, 66 in fact, the overall 66%. It was 30 and change before we started it, when we charged it with another vehicle. So it's going quick, even though we're seeing low voltage on the 12 volt system. I think the most of the charging is going into the hybrid battery. We're just not seeing it. It probably, I haven't seen it, but I think the alternator has two different outputs for two batteries, and it's not charging 12 volt battery that much, because first of all, it's pretty much charged, and 48 volt battery needs a lot more charging, so it does not waste resources on the 12 volt and just charges the 48 volt first. That's my understanding of it. Not entirely sure if that's correct, but that's what I think. And let's see some more data here. Okay. So I'll leave it charging. I want to see if it gets to like close to 100%, and then we'll see if we can pinpoint any issues. We're gonna go for a test drive as well to see if it performs okay. So the battery state of charge went down to 58 just by idling. So we decided to go for a test drive to see what happens when we actually drive it. So we're currently driving it on the streets. Nothing too fancy, just normal street driving, and the state of charge goes up. So my guess would be that the alternator is not charging this battery at idle too much. It goes up to 60, it went up to 66, and then it started going down. That's probably in order to save the alternator from burning out, just because it's idling, it's not really at high speed. But once you start driving, it goes up and then it goes down when you're idling again. It was 62 just now. Now it went back to 60 because we're stopped as we start moving eventually. It'll probably charge again. We are now on the highway. When getting to highway, it was discharging and charging intermittently. The state of charge would go up and down. And now that we're on the highway, I was expecting it to be going up, but instead the battery state of charge is going down. And we're just cruising on the highway, no boost, just cruising at about 100. Cruise control, and the battery state of charge is just dropping. So we may still be having an issue. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe the alternator isn't performing as it should, or the battery itself is dying. Maybe it needs to be replaced at some point. We're gonna keep driving and then come back to the shop and see if there's any codes that came up during the drive, and then go from there. So we decided to try a different mode. We are using a manual shifting, so we're keeping the RPM a little higher, and after about a minute of doing that, the state of charge went to 50, already 3% up. I'm wondering if it just needs more RPM, and at cruising it does not really charge enough. This is new technology to me. I have not diagnosed anything like this. Oh, and we're getting out of the highway on deceleration. It charged the battery 3% just right there, just as we were decelerating on the off ramp. So I guess it needs a specific mode of operation, and cruising on the highway on cruise control is not really the mode it's looking for. Now it's 56 and we've just got off the highway. We got 6% just getting off the highway. Now we're going back on and returning to the shop. We're gonna do another highway trip on manual mode with higher RPM and see if that charges the battery more. Okay, so now we have more updates. After about 2 minutes of driving on the highway, we tried accelerating and then suddenly applying brakes. When you apply brakes, after about 5 seconds of brake application, we get like 2% of charge right away. So it's basically charging the most when you're using brakes or just coasting down without accelerator. It also helps. We're also trying to just cruise on higher RPM in lower gear, not last gear, to see if it charges better when it's at higher RPM. So apparently, when you're going at higher RPM above 2000, it does not really discharge nor charge. It stays at about the same state of charge. But when you're decelerating or applying brakes, it charges very quick. So I suppose this is the way this system is supposed to be working. I think we're just gonna give it back to the customer and let him drive and see what happens, because I don't see an issue here. Now we're decelerating and it's pretty much charging. Yeah, we're just accelerated a little bit and now stopping quickly, and you can see how it picked up 2% of charge instantly. There you go. Yeah, so also we will change the oil in it, because when he overheated, the oil temperature was about 120 degrees, he said. So that's it's a good idea to change the oil before letting him use it. Still don't know why it overheated. Maybe he just let the coolant level go too low, and yeah, and it overheated. By the way, just got off the ramp. If you were watching the gauges, you would know that it charged about 5% of battery just getting off this ramp. So I guess that's it. We decided to also replace the engine oil and pull one spark plug out to check there's any cylinder wall damage, because he did say that he overheated the oil. The oil temperature was above 120 degrees. It's pretty critical, so we're gonna have to check it. Since we're doing the oil change, we decided to check the air filter. Oh God. Oh no. So the air filter is completely clogged. I don't think it did any damage. I mean, I don't think it caused this issue, but indeed it is clogged. So good thing we checked. Some metal filings are found in the filter. You open it up. It's clearly visible, but let's get a good view. Yeah, so there are some shiny particles in there that resemble aluminum pieces or other metals. Yeah. So I don't know how this engine is gonna perform from this point on, but this is not good. Definitely not good.